In the heat of events in and around the world of sports from Cameroon, Africa, Europe, and the rest of the world, you can always count on us for the latest bits and pieces of information coming up today. From all indications, Cameroon's football is in shambles. From the amateur level to the so-called professional and the national teams, things seem to be falling apart. In this edition, we try to find out and propose solution to the cacophony surrounding Cameroon's football, and also coming up, the recent decision from the Court of Arbitration for Sport reinstating General Pierre Semenge at the helm of Cameroon Professional League. Is it a blessing or a curse to Cameroon's football? This is Prime Sport. My name is FABRIS KEHDINGA. To set the ball rolling, let's find out what is cooking as far as top stories in Cameroon is concerned with Fon Quinta.
Of the Cameroon Karate Federation, Emmanuel Wakam, and 5 of his close collaborators have been handed an 8 years ban from sports. This follows allegations of sexual harassment levied on them. The Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Professor Narcisse Muele-Kombi, had in August suspended the president and his collaborators when the news broke out. These include the national men's coach, Chauffeur Oscar, women's coach Ngo Zimbabwe Marie Gabriel, junior team coach Essay Francis, and technical director Bob Dajang. They are expected to answer present at the National Gendarmerie next Monday for further interrogation. And elsewhere, fans and supporters of PWD Social Football Club of Bamenda are still in absolute celebration following their team's emphatic victory recorded on Wednesday, October 7, 2020. The Abakwa boys demolished the Bright Stars of South Sudan by 3-0. John Chinjo Bosco scored twice before the break, while Vincent Pongondi added another in stoppage time to make it 3-0 to conclude a good day at work for the current Elite 1 champions at the Amadou Ahidjo Annex 1 Stadium in Yaoundé. In the meantime, the Intermediate Lions of Cameroon will on Saturday enter a crucial stage of their build-up to the African Nations Championship 2021, when the host, the Bright Stars of South Sudan, in a warm-up game at the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium in Yaoundé from 3 p.m. Both teams are preparing in prelude to the upcoming competitions. Cameroon are gearing up for CHAN, while South Sudan are preparing for the now 2022 AFCON qualifiers. The boys of coach Ashu Besong Cyprien will be looking to bounce back after suffering a huge defeat on Wednesday. On the same day, the Intermediate Lions lost 0-1 to Cameroon League 1 side Panthers Sportive Dundee in a warm game. It is the first loss for coach Yves Clement Aroga, who will face Zimbabwe, Mali, and Burkina Faso in Group A of the 2021 African Nations Championship. The Indomitable Lions of Cameroon are bracing up ahead of this Friday's clash against the Samurai Blues of Japan in an international friendly match built up for the Netherlands. The closed-door game will be the first in 10 years for both teams, will last at the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, with Japan emerging victorious. This is the first international game for both sides since the outbreak of the novel coronavirus pandemic. Ahead of the game, the Indomitable Lions have been camping in Netherlands since Monday. They are also expected to challenge current African champions, the Desert Foxes of Algeria, in another friendly still in the Netherlands. The game takes place at 1 p.m. local time. And finally, the president of the Cameroon Professional League, General Pierre Semenge, has signed a communique ordering the Secretary General of the LFPC, Menovo Teresa Mangwele, to go on retirement. In the communique, the General says the 62-year-old Secretary General merits retirement according to the laws of the LFPC. This has provoked rumors in some quarters, considering the fact that the same law forbids the 83-year-old General from being president of LFPC due to his age. And that's it for our sports stories.
Thank Thank you very much, Queen, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is a complete house. The tag team is right here to demystify all the mysteries, everything that you need to know as far as sports in Cameroon today is concerned. And it's time I begin welcoming the gentlemen that I have on set this day. And I begin with ENOW. Thanks for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you on board.
Thank you so much, Fabrice. Thank you to my fellow panelists. It's a wonderful time. We're here once again to share our views as far as sporting activities in this nation is concerned.
You've been tracking events in the world of sports, Cameroon. What exactly caught your attention this week?
Well, you know, the Africa food and the professional league saga never stops. I'm sure, I don't yet know. This week I was really it was shocking to me to hear the minister speak with so much authority and tone. The tonnage of the minister was so shocking because the ministry has no direct authority over the federation. And remember, when the minister spoke, what came to my mind was the clash between Mohammed and the former minister of sports, Augustine Ojua. I remember in the Mohammed was invited at the time for a meeting at the Ministry of Sports and Ministry of Sports conference room for a meeting, and he actually did say the minister has no authority over him.
Of course.
And we are talking about issues back then in 2008. So that tells you, I don't understand if the current minister hasn't learned that each time the ministry wants to influence decisions from FECAFOOT, we always suffer from the slash hammer from FIFA. The ministry, I think, that just needs to do what we call a gentlemanly gesture, to talk to this gentleman, to see how we can resolve the issue without taking sides. But I believe that based on the minister's comments for some days now, apparently he's siding with Pierre Semenge. But what I can guarantee the minister, if he wants to side with Pierre Semenge, it therefore means we are buying a coffin for football for this nation.
Let's not hope so, but let's not also hope against hope. We welcome another panelist, the coach of LIMBE Football Club Association. He is joining us today for the very first time on our panel. He's Coach KAMGUIA. Thank you for joining us. Good evening.
Bonjour Fabrice, bonsoir à tous les co-panélistes et bonsoir à tous les téléspectateurs de Prime Media TV.
And you've also been following developments in Cameroon. What is that thing that caught your attention in the course of the week?
Normalement, comme tout sportif, je suis d'abord un fanatique, donc forcément je suis l'actualité sportive du pays. S'il faut revenir sur ce que mon co-panéliste a dit, je crois que l'actualité qui nous a le plus marqué cette semaine ou ces derniers jours, c'est l'affaire ministère, ligue professionnelle et la FECAFOOT. Je pense que la FECAFOOT étant l'organe technique du football et le représentant de la Fédération internationale de football sur le plan local, a pleinement le droit de pouvoir mener indépendamment ses activités sans toutefois avoir des interférences. Et l'assise du ministre aussi, qui est le ministre de tutelle, qui est le représentant du sport pour le gouvernement aussi à place, mais dans la mesure où si ça arrête juste sur le point à rappeler les uns et les autres la décision du TAS. Donc à ce niveau il n'y a pas de souci. Maintenant le problème qui se pose, c'est si le ministre veut peut-être influencer en faveur d'un tel ou d'un autre, c'est là que ça peut amener un problème. Donc je me dis que nous sommes dans un pays de droit, un pays très démocrate aussi, et tous ces hommes qui sont à la tête de ces différentes institutions, que ce soit le ministre, le président de la fédération ou le général, ce sont des gens instruits, des gens très professionnels, très intelligents et expérimentés. Et je crois que d'ici là, pour l'amour du Cameroun et du football national et des grands événements que nous devons organiser, ils doivent faire tout et tout pour trouver un terrain d'entente pour que tout va pour le mieux, afin que nous puissions préparer à bien le CHAN.
Thank you very much. Maybe I welcome with this question before I bring in the president of Option Sports Academy. How valuable are Cameroonian coaches? You are a coach, you hold a license, a CAF license A in coaches. How valuable are Cameroonian coaches? Can they meet the standard?
Ouais, je crois que, comme vous l'avez précisé, la licence ACAF, c'est une licence universelle. C'est l'équivalent de la licence A UEFA, A CONCACAF, A Asie, A Amérique du Nord. Et le module, c'est le même module de formation avec un cursus de formation où il faut d'abord faire les différents stages sur le plan local, les stages fédéraux, ensuite entamer le cursus CAF qui commence par un stage CCAF, après 2 ans BCAF, après ACAF. Donc, je crois que l'entraîneur camerounais est respecté à sa juste valeur. La preuve en est, on a des compatriotes qui entraînent dans des pays étrangers et qui s'en sortent très bien. Pour ne pas les nommer, je peux citer Marius Omo comme ça avec les Diables Rouges. Ils sont nombreux. Donc je crois que l'entraîneur camerounais qui a une licence ACAF, qui a un cursus CAF, est pareil qu'une licence, qu'un entraîneur qui a une licence AUFA, A machin, parce que c'est le même module conçu par la même FIFA et par ses fédérations, ses confédérations membres. Donc c'est un processus qui dure 8 ans pour avoir une licence ACAF. Ça fait 8 années d'études, 8 années de dur labeur, 8 années de dépenses, 8 années de sacrifices. Et je vous rappelle, il y a les gens qui échouent. Je me rappelle, nous avons entamé la CCAF, on était au nombre de 65, mais nous étions 34 à obtenir notre précieux sésame qui est la licence ACAF. Donc, l'entraîneur camerounais a valorisé à sa juste valeur.
Do you have a comfortable time with us here on My Media Prime Television, The African Eye? Time enough to welcome the president of Option Sports Academy, Henry NEBA AWANTO. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you, Fabrice. And, I want to say a big evening to my fellow panelists and televiewers of My Media Prime. We're here to give our input as far as sport is concerned in our country.
As you say, it has been a beautiful week. It has been a great week for you. We understand that away from sports, you're also a businessman, and you were recognized. You came second in the housing scheme. We should say congratulations to you, Mr. President.
Yes, thank you, Fabrice. As you know, I'm a nation builder. My responsibility is to accompany and to build my country and to give suggestions to the things that develop this beautiful country. And recently, I think on Monday, Options for Homes, which is a family of Option Sports Academy, won the National Low Cost Housing Award. We came second in the country. It's just part of nation building, and I think it's an action of hard work and patriotism, and we're here to support sport and to give an input to what to how sport is going to be developed in our country and where we should go with sport from where we are, with all the polemics and the shambles that it's surrounding football in our country. We want to be a better nation. We want to be that country that has a name when it comes to football, as opposed to be a country that is under normalization from time to time and from year to year. We're way past that stage, and we're really looking at the better years ahead, or better days ahead, especially now that we're preparing to host the CHAN. It's high time that we settle all the scores and the polemics that's surrounding football in our country.
Thank you very much. And you watching us, you are our very important personalities. You can follow the numbers you have on your screen and make sure you participate. You can send a text message or you can write us on WhatsApp, and we're going to get your contributions live on the show. Gentlemen, from all indications, football in Cameroon is in shambles. I mean, in a total state of destruction. From the amateur to the so-called professional as well as national teams, things are falling apart. ENOW.
You know, when the famous Nigerian writer Chinua Achebe did write that things fall apart, the center can no longer hold. And apparently that's what we're actually experiencing in Cameroon football. Because in as much as we have been clamoring to see the boys go back to the pitches, we want to watch the beautiful game. We want to see how, we want to celebrate good goals, and we want to have good records in terms of number of matches being played, number of games played by player, number of games played for the season. Those are the kind of records that we should be talking about on a daily basis. But why am I insisting on those records? Because sooner or later the SHAN we are going to host the SHAN.
That's from January 7th to...
From January 7th, we'll be hosting the SHAN. And when you look at it from today, Fabrice, we basically have 3 months left for us to face the SHAN.
And no one knows when the league will begin.
And the league is still swindling. We don't yet know. There's nothing which has been said. Because remember, we are still talking about cacophonies within the ranks of Fecafoot as well as the professional league. Now the boys are still in the quarters doing little or nothing, and we are going to fail. We are going to host because we don't want to host and we don't win the trophy. It is my dream as a Cameroonian to celebrate in Yaoundé the lifting up the trophy. But how far am I sure we are going to achieve that? Because the boys, as we speak, are not active. Now, put irrespective of the SHAN, we are a footballing nation. We should demonstrate after more than 50 years of maturity, having been a member of CAF and having been a member of FIFA since the 1960s, which 1963, we should be demonstrating that after this number of years of maturity, we should be a flag bearer of football in Africa. But today, countries like Djibouti,
with the realities on ground.
With the realities on ground.
Do you say we are mature with the realities on ground?
Well, with the realities on ground, Fabrice, I can tell you that we are still in the incubator. We are still in the incubator. Because after 50 years,
with 5 AFCON trophies, 8 World Cup participation.
We have been normalized 3 times. That's also another trophy. I'm not looking at, we have been normalized 3 times. That is the act of disorder.
Okay.
We have missed out of the World Cup beautiful tournaments because of disorder. Remember, Fabrice, in 2006 World Cup, we lost out of that opportunity because we were being deducted points. In 2005, we were deducted points. We could only struggle to catch up with Cote d'Ivoire towards the dying end of the competition. But hadn't been we were not deducted points, that would have been a free tournament for this nation. And because of disorder that is being fueled by the minister, as we currently speak, the minister is the one fueling issues.
The minister?
The minister is fueling disorder as we speak. CAF, Fecafoot, based on Article 1, based on Resolution number 1, because on the 24th and the 25th of September, when the board meeting was being held, they came out with 21 resolutions. And resolution number 1 stated that they all accepted unanimously the decisions that were being held, that came up during that general assembly, assembly. That's decision number 1. But decision number 6 states that, resolution number 6 states that Fecafoot is going to apply the decision from CAS. Now, it therefore means Fecafoot has accepted the fact that,
but they had no reason than accepting. They had no choice.
That reasons why I'm telling you that the minister is now fueling issues.
Okay, Mr. Henry, will you tie with ENOW that the Minister of Sports is the one foiling the issue we have at hand now?
I think it's a technocrat, a sport technocrat. At the same time, he's a great analyst, but I disagree with him based on the fact that from general analysis, is an anti-Semenge. From general analysis, you can agree with me, he's an anti-Semenge. And you can also agree with me, he's a sympathizer of the current federation. And but the one thing I want to say is that Cameroon is a country of law. That's what the minister said. We're a country of law. We have an international sanction a decision that was issued by TAS, and it is the responsibility of Cameroon to respect it. And who ensures that respect should be the state of Cameroon and through the Minister of Sport. That is the first thing. Now, FABRIS, great leaders are known in the way they manage crisis. Great leaders are known in the way they manage crisis. And I think the way that Nigeria's and his team, his political team, have managed this current crisis is just a way to say that they are not great leaders for me. Okay. You understand? I was a little skeptical about Semenge and his age, but give and take the situation, I think that Semenge, he's served this country for a very long time as a general, as a military officer, high-level officer, and he's been in sport for a long time, and he came to sport at a later age of his life, at his older age. And if Nigeria was wise enough, I think dissolving the league last year was a wrong decision for him, because somewhere, somehow, Semenge has a legacy to keep. It's very important why he's picturing out his retirement. You understand? And the decision of Nigeria was so disrespectful. But then TAS came into the picture and said, you know what, we have looked at the general situation and we think that Semenge and his team are the right team. As a matter of fact, if the law was supposed to be applied, we're supposed to have cancelled the league and go back to probably 2018, 2019. But somewhere, Semenge, it's a little bit, he's a patriot. He wants the country to go ahead. He wants us to host the nation, the SHAN that is coming up, and possibly the Nation Cup. And he's understood that there are some politicians who have failed in political milieus, and they want to take football as an avenue to destabilize the country.
And now it brings the question, who is responsible for this shambles? Because
I think the person that
most are placing the troubles of Cameroon's football at the doorstep of
there is only one person that is responsible. It is Mr. Njoya and his team. It's Mr. Njoya and his team. TAS has passed a sentence. Let it be respected the way it's.
It might not be fair for us to blame Mr. Njoya, because the troubles, there have always been troubles within the rank of football in Cameroon. Let's recall that in 1994, when the Indomitable Lions were representing the country during the World Cup, a amount of money disappeared and no one accounted for it till today. That was in 1994. That was not in the era of Seidu.
Yeah, that is the history I can't lay my hands on. And I don't want to go into that history. I want to talk about what we can handle right now. 1994, I don't know how old you were at the time. And the stories we heard, we don't know how the money disappeared. Whether players even disappeared the money or the minister disappeared the money, I can't tell exactly, you know. But I'm talking about the decision that was signed a while ago by TAS, asking for the respect of the professional league. It's just a simple thing that has to be respected without complexities. Let FECAFOOT go into it and respect it. The minister is playing the role of diplomacy. At the same time, he's playing the role as a minister, and he's defending the institution of this country, a country that has law. Let FECAFOOT just go ahead and respect Semenge's regime. Semenge has a while to run the league, probably organize his election, and this is just a short time. We have barely 3 months, like ENOW was saying, to host the SHAN, which starts on the 7th of January. And with all these shambles and complexities and animals, I don't think we have enough time to prepare. What are we preparing? Starting the league or preparing for SHAN? And I think that the problem here is FECAFOOT. FECAFOOT is responsible for all the disorder in this country.
In football, not in this country.
I think the disorder in football. Njoya has shown that he's incompetent. His team, they are incompetent. And I keep telling you that a great leader is known in the way he handles the way he handled crisis. You understand? The way he handled the COVID issues, the way he handled the Semenge regime, and the way he's handling the decision of TAS is just to tell you that there's a bunch of incompetence going on around the whole thing. And politicians, like I keep telling you, politicians have infiltrated football. Politicians who have failed in political agendas have infiltrated.
And can we pull them out? Is it possible?
It's possible. That's what the minister is trying to do. The minister is trying to hit hard. And I like the approach of the minister.
But this is a matter that had been brought before the minister. General Pierre Semenge had sorted all local mediums to get a solution to this. But the same ministers, they were listening, they followed the issue. He took it to the National Olympic and Sports Committee and they gave a deaf ear. So what are we saying now?
You know, Fabrice, when I hear the president of Option Sports speaks, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Why are you not surprised?
I'm not surprised because a lot of other presidents, when we went in for election,
they unanimously voted
for the professional league, before the day of the election, we already knew that we already had a list of presidents that stood behind Frank Happy. But on the day of the election, there was a meeting, and a lot of them now twisted themselves and crossed over the carpet and now said they are standing for Semenge, that they should accompany him. But for which, when we look at the agenda, Frank Happy had a better agenda that was put on the table in order to promote football in this nation. I don't go based on people's ages.
Okay.
I don't go based on people's pedigree. I don't go based on people's past history. I go based on what people are actually doing. If he says that Cameroon is a country of law, remember, we just watched from the report. Semenge is already sending people out based on their age of retirement. But he himself forgets that the law states that at the age limit to be the president of the professional league should be 75 years. So how can you be sending other people who are 62 years for retirement when you are 86 years old and you 83. Are not going? You are 83 years old. You are not going on retirement, which you are 20 years older than somebody that you are sending on retirement.
Okay, let me bring in Coach Guy KAMGUIA. In all of these, the quality of the game has dropped. You look at the performance of Cameroonian team at CAF interclub competition is dwindling. The last time we had a team representing Cameroon getting as far as the semi-final was Cotton Sport of Garoua in 2008, and Cameroon have lost a place from the CAF competition. All this cacophony leaves the game in shambles. Coach.
Oui, effectivement, Fabrice, je suis désolé d'être d'accord avec vous. En tant que technicien, je crois que ceux qui souffrent le plus dans cette histoire, c'est les footballeurs et les coachs. Parce que vous voyez, que ce soit la Ligue ou l'Africa Foot ou le ministère, tous ces gens, ils ne parlent que de leurs intérêts personnels, que de l'agent, des trucs. À aucun moment, vous n'avez suivi, aucun de ces présidents-là a pensé à un joueur, sortir un plan d'action, parler des salaires d'un joueur, parler des statuts des footballeurs. Peut-être quelques rares fois le Sinafoc à l'intermédiaire de Jérémy Njitap, mais sinon, tous les trois autres-là, ils ne pensent pas à ça. Tout ce qui les importe, c'est l'aspect financier, les intérêts personnels. Ceci dit, depuis le Covid, ça fait pratiquement 6 mois qu'on ne joue plus au football. Et on a 2 grandes compétitions majeures sur la scène africaine à organiser. Récemment, j'étais déçu. Quand mon ami le coach Aroga a demandé à faire stage, beaucoup d'administrateurs se sont levés. Oh, il va faire le stage sur la base de quoi il n'y a pas championnat. Lui, il était là, il a un objectif, il a une mission qui lui a été assignée. Il est là, il regarde, il voit le championnat, les gens discutent, ne parlent même pas du début du championnat. Lui, il est inquiet. Il se dit, ah, pendant qu'il discute là, je peux même commencer à regrouper. Mais comme les gens là voient que c'est une histoire pour faire dépenser d'argent, on a commencé à vouloir critiquer, il va regrouper sur la base de quoi. Vous voyez que s'il n'avait pas fait ces 2 regroupements, c'est qu'il fallait attendre que le championnat commence pour qu'il regroupe. C'est qu'on est manqué. C'est qu'on n'est même pas sûr de pouvoir avoir une équipe digne d'une compétition sur-régionale, donc c'est une équipe qui peut jouer la CEMAC. Pourtant, on est en train de parler de la CHAN. Donc moi, je vais dire ceci par rapport à tous ces guégués. Une décision a été donnée par la haute juridiction arbitrale du sport. Maintenant, le problème qui se pose, c'est quoi? Comme le président Henry a dit, on est dans une situation complexe actuellement au Cameroun due à la situation socio-politique. Parce que s'il fallait que le général applique le droit comme il a été fait, vous-même vous savez, certaines équipes seraient en D2, certaines équipes qui croient jouer la Champions ne devaient pas tenter de préparer. Non, lui il était clément. Le ministre est venu clément. Mais moi je pense que tous les entités devaient être cléments. Regardez la situation, puisque nous sommes des humains. Vous voyez un peu, on devait regarder la situation. Nous sommes tous des compatriotes d'abord, c'est nos pays. On connaît ce qu'on vit là. Lui ne sais pas les problèmes qu'il y a dans l'autre côté du pays. Mais ils devaient s'entendre et regarder et faire des concessions par rapport à ça pour que l'intérêt collectif de tout le monde ne soit résumé qu'à l'intérêt du football. Que avant qu'il ne dans les guéguerres individuelles, qu'au moins le championnat commence, comme il a dit, pour permettre de briller sur la scène internationale. On peut avoir plusieurs comités de normalisation, ça dépend. Le comité de normalisation peut être là peut-être parce qu'on n'a pas respecté les statuts, c'est pour ça qu'il y a les lois. Mais en ce qui concerne le football, il faut que quand il y a n'importe quelle décision, quelle discussion, qu'au moins qu'on soit en train de jouer.
Tout à fait.
Parce que quand on est en train de jouer, ça réduit, ça apaise même les choses. Vous imaginez le nombre de joueurs qui sont comme ça laissés depuis le 16 mars sans jouer. On a vu un reportage là, un joueur panthère qui était obligé de faire de la cordonnerie pour pouvoir survivre. Alors qu'on parle de championnat professionnel, on est en train de parler des millions, comme le président a dit. Vous avez entendu Covid, machin, mais quand vous remettez 50 000 francs à un joueur avec peut-être 2 kg de riz et 2 boîtes d'huile pour 4 mois, mais c'est déplorable. Donc moi je crois que on est arrivé à un niveau où nos dirigeants là, ils doivent laisser leurs intérêts personnels de côté, les égos sous-dimensionnés de côté pour privilégier l'intérêt de la nation. C'est-à-dire remettre le footballeur, remettre le jeu au centre de leur discussion. S'ils remettent ça au centre de leur discussion, vous verrez que tout le reste là, ça sera secondaire.
Okay. We are still going to be looking at that TAS decision, whether it's a blessing or a curse to Cameroon's football. And we also look at how independent is TAS. Mr. President, you're blaming the Cameroon Football Federation for the woes of Cameroon football. What do you propose?
Well, I think the proposal is very simple. And it's simple on the fact that there has to be respect and order must be put in place. You know, the other day I went through a communique where the president of FECAFOOT wrote to the minister declining a meeting, refusing to attend a meeting. I think that is total civil disorder in a country where there is supposed to be law. You know, I come from the Northwest where we have respect for culture and respect for hierarchy.
Okay.
And whatever be the case, even if you think that the minister invited you for a meeting and it was not proper for you to attend that meeting, putting up a letter and say all over social media is total disrespect for the state. The minister is a minister and is the minister of sport. He represents sport. And if FECAFOOT has to
that could be sign of bitter days for the Cameroon Football Federation.
Yes, if FECAFOOT has to be FECAFOOT, it's because they are representing Cameroon. And Cameroon is a state of law, like I'm saying.
And let's not forget that FECAFOOT is directly answerable to FIFA.
Yeah, but they are somewhere in Chinga, and Chinga is in Cameroon. You have to understand the geopolitics of all of these, and I think we have to. FECAFOOT should be responsible. Like I've said this before, a great leader is known in the way he manages crisis. There is a way in which you accept mistakes, whereas you are not wrong, just because of the way, because you think that things should move ahead. FECAFOOT is responsible for football in this nation. TAS has issued a decision, and it's just for FECAFOOT to say, you know what, we're humble enough to say yes to the decision. Let's give Semenge a chance. Semenge is 83 plus. Let's see what he can do for the next couple of months.
Of course, they have given him a chance.
And you know what, that's it. So the whole
problem,
giving him
another mandate.
The whole problem is in the hands of FECAFOOT. FECAFOOT should start by respecting the decision of TAS. This is where it stands, and giving Semenge, who is the president of the professional league, an opportunity to run his league, to draw a calendar for his league and submit. If this doesn't work, then there is no solution about it.
ENOW, I bring you in. Why is it difficult for the Cameroon Football Federation to respect its own laws? I remember that in 2013, when then president of the Cameroon Football Federation, Iya Mohammed, was sent to prison. The man who was supposed to take over at the time was the first vice president, John Bindo, and he was not brought in. Rather, a different name showed up. Why is it difficult for the FA to respect their own laws?
Yes, Fabrice, the name that showed up was Tombia Roko.
Tombia Roko Sidiki.
Yes, and you know, that's when the disorder of football, the heart of disorder actually began. From 2013 to current date, we have not had good sleep in terms of management of football in this nation. We shouldn't be talking about issues in football. Fabris, I worry a lot about footballers. I want to see a league where my footballers are earning a monthly salary of 250,000 francs. Our footballers are living in misery. Some years ago, I was at Bonasama to visit a player who had an injury and was abandoned. Players don't have insurance coverage. I want to see a league whereby our footballers have insurance coverage. I want to see monthly salaries, regular payments of players' dues. We need to uplift the status of footballers. On the contrary, we have been having a lot of disorder by the people who are supposed to create order. Reason being that there's a lot of ego and non-respect of line of responsibility. The minister is the number one the authority of the land. But unfortunately, when it comes to football, no matter the country, it is FIFA that is the boss for the Football Federation. And you have CAS, which is an independent body that comes to give out judgment in terms of sports in general. Remember, even Argentina was under normalization, but that did not stop Messi from being the best player. Reason being that football was being played.
Just like Cameroon was under normalization in 2017, but it didn't stop them from winning the AFCON.
We didn't stop us from winning the AFCON. But remember, those who won the AFCON are mostly players from abroad and not the local based players.
But we won the AFCON.
We won the AFCON. But what we want to see, the guy who won the AFCON is called Chipo Motin. It's not John Bosco. And John Bosco,
They are all Cameroonians.
no, John Bosco's salary is not about, he's not getting a regular salary of 100,000. I don't think so. I'm just giving an example. If you go to a club like Eding Sports, the Lake here, I'm not sure the players actually got their regular salaries. I want to see a scenario whereby
Last year, Snafok published a list of 26 elite clubs in Cameroon that their players had gone for close to 6 months without
having
receiving a
salaries.
pay.
I want to see a scenario whereby, listen, we have spent so much money at the level of paying legal charges. About 930 million francs CFA was spent for legal expenses, just for the issue between Fecafoot and the professional league. But that is money that we could have pumped into the in the league.
Of course, the FA has spent close to $1 billion.
Yeah, can you
with court
imagine
cases
the number
and
of
paying of coaches
do you
illegally fired?
Can you imagine the number of buses? We could buy 70-seaters buses for at least each Elite One club with 1 billion CFA, because we are talking about almost $1 billion francs CFA spent at the level of CAS. But what if the league wants to begin and the federation says that we are, in order to support those clubs, we give you guys transportation buses, but on the contrary, we don't find that. So I don't want to labor so much about General Pierre Semenge. I don't want to labor so much about Sedum Bomojoya, because if I want to bother much about Sedu, I'll tell you that the resolution of FECAFO stated that they are going to respect the decision of CAS. It was very clear in their resolution. Reason why Semenge is a member of the
of course, it was stated in their decision,
yes,
that they were going to respect.
Yes.
Then why did the Fecafoot boss, Seydou Mbumbunjoya, turn down an invitation from the Minister of Sports?
The minister, I told you that the minister forwarded issues, because at the time when we want to talk about having a gentlemanly relationship with the LPC, the reason why General Pierre Semenge was given an additional year by Fecafoot to be at the helm of LPC in the professional league, because his mandate had already expired. But because of the cacophony, they said one of the resolution number 16 says that the president of the professional league will be given an additional year. That was to have harmony among all the members. But when the minister came up with his declaration by saying that on ne peut pas avoir des états dans un état, it therefore means that you're already spilling out issues. You are provoking people who are already in pain and struggling to reconcile themselves.
So the minister is taking side with the strongest force at this point in time, and the strongest force at this point in time is the communique from
the minister even said he is handing over the football infrastructures to the professional league. It means in each of his communications, right, he is talking about the professional league. But we are in a situation whereby we need peace and harmony to progress. Unfortunately, he's not doing that.
Unfortunately, he's not doing that. That's what you think. In all of these, Coach Game, the players are the ones suffering. When you look at the players, you coach Cameroon players, is there really a bright future for players in Cameroon?
C'est très difficile, Fabrice. Désolé de te dire ça. C'est très difficile. Les footballeurs qui s'en sortent, les footballeurs camerounais qui s'en sortent, c'est vraiment la chance. Parce que quoi, dès le départ, je crois que le gouvernement et tous les autorités footballistiques et l'Africa Foot, ils ont faussé cette idée de la ligue. Parce que il y a un adage qui dit manager, c'est prévoir. Management is anticipation. Ils ont programmé la ligue sans vérifier tous les canaux, sans permettre ou bien sans exiger à tous les clubs de respecter le cahier des charges. Parce que pour être professionnel, il y a un certain nombre de cahiers des charges qu'il faut respecter. Comme par exemple en France, vous avez la DSCG, le gendarme financier. C'est-à-dire, si tu es une équipe de football, si tu veux créer une équipe de football qui est professionnelle, tu viens, tu montes ton compte bancaire, tu montres l'équivalent de salaire de 25 jours que tu as pendant la période de la durée du championnat. Tu montes ton terrain d'entraînement, tu montes peut-être ton terrain du match, que tu es loué ou pas, mais tu montres un site, tu montres le siège, tout ça. On a biaisé ça, on n'a pas respecté. Le gouvernement a donné les subventions. Il a exigé, c'est pour le salaire des joueurs et des coachs. Il faut payer directement. Les présidents des clubs sont allés avec les dirigeants, ils sont magouillés, ils n'ont pas respecté cela, on a mis dans leur poche. Aujourd'hui, je suis surpris de voir le général qui demande aux présidents des clubs de justifier les deniers publics, les subventions de 2018-2019. Ça, c'est...
That could be another issue in the making.
C'est un autre problème, c'est en train de venir. C'est pour ça que le général a dit, ils m'ont piégé, je les piège. Ils sont en train de se piéger, et c'est pour ça que je vous ai dit au départ que dès le départ.
And in that communique, the minister is the general is copying the Ministry of Defense, which means that we could start hearing of some arrests being made.
Yes, donc c'est un peu ça. Donc c'est compliqué. C'est pour ça que j'ai dit au départ, Fabrice, que si on doit sortir dans cette solution, on ne doit pas se baser sur les lois. Si on veut se baser que sur le truc du TAS là, puis il ne va pas jouer la Champions League, puis il va aller à 2-2. Il y aura tellement de problèmes. Donc, il faut que les gars s'assoient, gentleman agreement, comme il a dit, on comprend que non, gars, c'est au Cameroun. Entre nous, il faut qu'on fasse comment pour que... Sinon, c'est qu'on peut pas. Parce que le général est en train d'envoyer les bombes. Bientôt, tu vas entendre les convocations au CED. Quand on te dit deniers publics, ça veut dire que c'est les biens de l'État. Tu as vu le président de Renaissance de Ngounou et des Dragons ont démissionné du conseil aujourd'hui. C'est parce qu'ils voient le feu venir.
We're going to be talking about that because it's not yet ended. Like we indicated on previous edition of the program, even within the ranks of the Cameroon Professional League, there are a lot of troubles within the ranks of the Cameroon Professional League. We are going to be talking about it. Now, gentlemen, when we look at all these, I don't know what I should call it, kabar, President, don't you think these persons need to be brought to book for taking Cameroon's football into the forest?
You know, like I said before, ENOW he's an analyst. At the same time, sometimes I see him as a controversial analyst because he's just tied a knot, agreeing with us at the point that the federation has been the problem of our football. From the time of Tombi Aroko to the current regime, it's been the federation that has been the problem. And it's even cited here that the federation has spent about $1 billion. Now, when you see a federation spending $1 billion on legal issues, while submitting a kilogram or 5 kilograms of rice to the amateur leagues, as opposed to buying buses to the professional leagues as a way of subvention, then you begin to ask yourself about leadership. The federation has been a problem. There is no order in disrespecting the laws. There is just no order. a law has been passed. Let the federation that is the head of football just start respecting the laws.
Will you say that those managing football in Cameroon have the love for the beautiful game?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. And like I said, the general has been very smart enough, because he's an investigator. He's a military guy. He's been in the center of intelligence in this country. He understands the politics behind it. There are a lot of people who don't want this nation to host the CHAN. And I'm telling you, there are a lot of people who don't want this nation to host the Nations Cup. Just like you failed a while ago, they want it to fail so they can use it as a manifestation or a protest, a way to sabotage the state of Cameroon. We're way past that. We've gone through a lot in the Northwest and Southwest. We've gone through a lot in this country, and we just think football can be a unifying factor. Let politicians, it's just a political milieu. Politicians have infiltrated FECAFOOT. And because they know Cameroonians have a lot of love for football. I told you before, back in the days, when you go out of this country and you say you're from Cameroon, people start citing you to Mila Roger and start giving you free drinks. You understand? It's not the case today. Now, Cameroon is well known for normalizations, 3 normalizations under 7 or 8 years or so, and we're close to another normalization. That's what politicians want. They want to use the aspect of football to destabilize this country. And I think that the only way about it, there is just one way about it. Only one way, and I'll tell you today, tomorrow. Whether the players are suffering, whether the league is starting tomorrow, the coaches are suffering, let FECAFOOT start by respecting the laws. And FECAFOOT should project the institution, the football institutions first. Football is not run in the offices. It starts in the offices. It's not only managed in the offices, it's also managed on the field.
And from your analysis, those who are managing football at the moment in Cameroon don't have the love for the game.
They don't have the love for the game.
Which means that they need to be uprooted.
Yes, they have to be. I think that some way, somehow, normalization is the way forward. If FECAFOOT refuses to
another normalization,
the way it's going, because as you and I sit on this panel, if I should ask you, Fabrice, when is the league going to start? When is the league going to start? We are 3 months away to hosting a continental event. The league has not started. How do we prepare for that? It doesn't make sense. Do you know that Panthers, they beat the Lions the other day by 1-0? It's just to tell you that we are not ready enough. It's not possible that a professional club that's Panthers has been training for the past 2 months. They are ready for the competition.
And your team played a friendly match.
We played a friendly match, and it was quite a good game. But I felt bad when I feel that a professional club is beating a national club. It's just to tell you that we are not ready, and we are not ready because of the politics that have been going on in Yaoundé, in Chinga. FECAFOOT should calm down themselves. Njoya and his regime should calm down themselves and let football in this country prevail. Give Semenge an opportunity. Respect the minister. How do you disrespect the minister of this nation? In a social media platform, you disrespect our minister. It's not allowed. It's a way that FECAFOOT is also disrespecting the decision of TAS.
Is General Pierre Semenge fighting for the development of football in this country, or is fighting for his honor?
Well, I think he has a mandate, and we have to give him...
Is he fighting for the good of the game, or to complete his mandate?
He has a mandate, and in his mandate, we think he has objectives. And part of his objectives, nobody runs an institution by just looking at his personal interest. I think somewhere the national interest is also in the picture.
From 2013 to now, will you say General Pierre Semenge has been the man that Cameroon's football needs?
He might have not been the man. He's equally a politician somewhere around, but I think I'm figuring out how we can handle the situation that is at hand right now. We need a solution. I am not into who is the best and who is not the best. Given his age, 83, I don't think logical thinking he's the right man for the job, but then we need a solution at hand right now. If that's give the decision for him to continue to run the professional league, I think that there is a level of credibility they've seen in him, and we should just respect the law and let Cameroon continue to move one day at a time.
The president of Option Sports Academy is placing the troubles of Cameroon's football at the doorstep of the Cameroon Football Federation. Will you do same?
Fabrice, I will just come up with some few statistics.
Okay.
During the general second mandate, he said he's going to raise 100 billion for the league. I don't know how much has been raised, because I'm going based on facts.
Okay.
I don't criticize. We analyze facts. He said 24 stadiums were going to be constructed in the different regions of the country.
Do you have facts for that?
We now know nothing was constructed.
You now know. Do you have the facts?
The facts are glaring. Can you show me a stadium that the professional league actually constructed in Cameroon? But that was in his manifesto during his second mandate. He said 100 billion was going to be raised. How much was raised? He said players were going to have regular payment of salaries. Can players attest that they actually received regular payment of salaries? Those are the things which I put in what we call the scorecard, the balance scorecard. And that is your result. If I had the stadiums, remember, we saw last week images of Bamenda. That was abandoned by Tombia Roko regime. Tombia Roko wanted to construct stadiums in Bangante, Sangmalima, Bamenda, as well as Bafia.
He had a good vision.
He had
c'est pas la Ligue de construire le stade. C'est chaque équipe qui construit le stade ou le gouvernement à travers sa fédération.
Sauf que le général nous a présenté ça dans son projet. C'est ça que moi j'ai dit. That's what I'm saying, that at the beginning, when the general presented his facts, isn't it? I started questioning it even before he was elected, that this cannot be realistic, because.
But those who elected him saw the facts as being realistic.
No, Fabris. Mohammed was elected, but we found him later going to jail. So what I'm saying is,
he was elected in jail.
What I'm saying is, yeah, he was elected while he was in jail. What I'm saying is, the general, based on his manifesto, it was already glaring that they were unrealistic, and now he actually won. So I'm looking at what are the results based on what you actually promised. Have we achieved them? The answer is no. Consequently, if it is no, then you are not the right man at the right place.
Okay. Thank you. If you're just joining us, you're watching Prime Sports on My Media Prime Television. We go for a quick break. When we come back, we still talk about the task decision. Is it a blessing or a curse to Cameroon's football? And of course, Abdul Haman Baba is back. Stay with us. You're welcome back. You're still watching Prime Sports, and at this point in time, we're going to be looking at the decision from the Court of Arbitration for Sports reinstating General Pierre Semenge. The much talked about General Pierre Semenge these days at the helm of the Cameroon Professional League. Is it a curse or a blessing to Cameroon's football, Mr. President?
Cameroon is a blessed football nation in the first place. And if you see foreign bodies entering your home, it's because there is total disorder in the house in the first place. So I think that the Court of Arbitration came in to settle those scores. But like I've been saying before, whether it's a blessing or a curse, our responsibility as a country that is a footballing nation, a country that has a lot of respect for football, our responsibility is to respect that decision. And that respect should start from FECAFOOT. FECAFOOT should give the professional league an opportunity to run football. We are tired of these letters on social media. Some of us have never attended these meetings. We don't even know what it is. We only watch them on TV and read them on social media. We are just tired. Our kids need to play football. And let me tell you, when the situation keeps going on, especially in areas of the northwest and southwest where we think that peace should come back in order, when we leave our children without giving them an opportunity to start playing football, might find ourselves in a situation where some are going back into the bushes, and we are tired of this scenario. Let FECAFOOT allow our football to continue. FECAFOOT should respect the decision that came from the Court of Arbitration.
So the decision is a blessing?
It's a blessing.
Okay. Now, in a meeting where FECAFOOT President Seydou Mboumboujoya did not attend, that was last week, the much talked about Abdurrahman Baba was appointed to head an ad hoc committee to run the 2020-2021 football season in Cameroon. Let's recall that Abdurrahman Baba was the man at the center of the illegal sacking, I should say, of Tombi Aroko Sidiki, who was president of the Cameroon Football Federation. The gentleman had taken the Tombi Aroko Sidiki, led him to the same Court of Arbitration for Sports before CAS announced that the Cameroon Football Federation at the time should be suspended and brought in a normalization committee. Now, that is coming back again. ENOW, do we see him as a man to deliver? Is he the right man to save Cameroon's football, or is another politician?
Well, Abdurrahman has been appointed as a member of the ad hoc committee for the organization of the league. Now, my question is, most of us know Abdurrahman on media platforms as well as issues with CAS. But in terms of management of football, I don't think that he has any pedigree in terms of management of football. I'm going to respect. He says he is the president of Etoile Filan de Garoua. But my question is he managing Etoile Filan, or he's thinking only of management of the professional league? I find beauty seeing a president. Fabrice, I spend all my days Moliko Omi Sports Stadium, Limbe Centenary Stadium. I start annex the Yaoundé, start annex the Bepanda. Those are the places you could find me, because that's where you could watch beautiful games, you could see talents.
Even when the Moliko Omi Sports Stadium was not that beautiful,
it wasn't what it is today. It wasn't what it is today. Those are the areas where you could see you could see the young boys are struggling to make a living out of what they know best. Abdurrahman should be telling me that he's bothered about the players of Etoile Filan, and he's raising the hopes of those young kids and to change them, to take them to a different level. We shouldn't be only bothered about FECAFOOT professional league. We should think about how those players would improve in their life. I want to let you know something. When Atem Fondombeze Valentine of Mount Cameroon Football Club of Boya, when he went to Abuasi Goldfield in Ghana and came back, Calvin Foning, the president of Mount Cameroon Football Club and the founder, walked round the field raising the hand of Valentine. It was a sign, and everybody tells Valley, that is your daddy. We want to see a club president raise these children. A lot of those children depend on club president. They don't know whether you are in LPC or you are in FECAFOOT. They know you are the provider. I can tell you, you have players who cannot buy a pair of shoes. Players, even in their daily life, if they are sick, they call the club president. And I want to see club president in the life of their players, not only bothered about the FECAFOOT having a space, an appointment in FECAFOOT, or having an appointment in the professional league. Those are administrative positions.
Okay.
But the beauty of football is management of football.
Okay. Abdurrahman coming back this time around to organize the championship in Cameroon. Is he the right man for the job? Fabrice, he has always been a daggers drawn with the Cameroon Football Federation.
Fabrice, I'm sorry, it's a big mistake.
A mistake?
Yeah. Ça, c'est une des grosses erreurs que le ministre a fait. You cannot meet Vous pouvez pas associer Donald Trump à Obama pour gérer une crise. C'est le feu et l'eau.
Okay.
Let me tell you, c'est à cause de la présence de Abdour. Certainement, hein, je suis pas sûr, mais je pense que l'Africa Food a eu vent du fait que Abdourahmane pourrait être à cette réunion chez le ministre avant de ne pas prendre part. Parce que c'est l'eau et le feu. Et puis, il n'y a rien qu'on peut faire pour ce football et que ça marche sans qu'il y ait la fédération. Parce que la fédération, c'est l'organe technique. Donc, n'importe quelle réunion qu'on devait faire, on devait faire en sorte que l'Africa Foot soit présente. C'est l'Africa Foot qui détient la machine pour les licences, c'est elle qui détient les fichiers, c'est elle qui détient les contrats, c'est elle qui détient tout. On ne peut rien faire sans associer la fédération aux travaux. Même si la fédération est en tort, il faut les associer avant qu'après la FIFA sanctionne un comité de normalisation et puis ça vienne normaliser les choses. Donc, des deux, amener Abdourahmane, pour moi, je crois que la FECAFOOT n'a pas trop apprécié parce que ils ne s'entendent pas. Et vous êtes sans ignorer qu'Abdourahmane a une affaire pendant au TAS.
Tout à fait.
En appelant à la destitution du président Bobo Dioua. Oui. Vous imaginez, lui, s'assoit avec quelqu'un qui a porté plein de tasses pour contester son élection. C'est une cause, ça peut même pas. Donc, sur ces points, je peux un peu partager l'avis de mon co-panéliste qui dit que le ministre est en train d'ajouter le carburant un peu. Dans cet angle-là.
And that could be one of the reasons why
et aussi,
the president refused to attend the
quelle que soit la
meeting.
situation, comme le président a dit, la fédération, la FECAFOOT devait prendre part à la réunion, aller sur place et refuser. Parce que c'est un mépris, comme le président a dit. Quand la tutelle qui est comme l'aîné, qui est comme le gouvernement. That
could be a way of reuniting all the parties.
Même s'il devait refuser, qu'il vienne là-bas, refuser là-bas. Vous voyez un peu, par respect au ministre qui est l'aîné, qui les appelle eux tous.
Exactly.
Vous pouvez avoir un problème avec votre frère, le père t'appelle, tu viens, tu arrives, tu dis oui papa, je veux pas me réconcilier avec celui-là.
That could mean that FECAFOOT rejecting the invitation of the Minister of Sports could mean that they will welcome a normalization committee.
It's the way it's going. The way it's going, Fabris. If we're not careful,
because
we're getting close to that stage already, you know.
Because I attended the FECAFOOT General Assembly in Yaoundé, and at one point in time, the president of the Cameroon Football Federation said that he has done more than what a president can do. He had delivered more than what the president can do. Does it mean that it might mean that he's tired?
What is the delivery? Rice and granite oil and sardine? Is that the delivery in football? Or giving 50,000 francs to players in 6 months during COVID-19? I think that's a political statement. I'm a practical person. I'm a nation builder, and I understand leadership and how it works. So when I hear those kind of statements, they sound too political for my liking, you know. I think the delivery is in terms of action. You understand? And coming to the question of Abdourahmane, personally, I don't know Abdourahmane, but I've taken some time to do some research about Abdourahmane and his relationship with the federation. I'm not interested in his personal life, but my little research tells me that he's the kind of person that wants things to be in order.
Okay. And
because after Iya Mohammed was out, went to prison, I think the position of Abdourahmane was that John Bilinde was supposed to be
the
president. And somewhere, like I said, the federation has always been in the nucleus of the problems of football in this nation. Somewhere Tombi Aroko stepped in. I don't understand how that transition worked. And after that time, Tombi Aroko is serving a life term in terms of ban, and then Iya Mohammed is in, and Abdourahmane is still on the case. I don't know his relationship with John Bilinde, but I think that he is working on the laws.
The laws.
And then to put him on a credible stand, the normalization actually came in based on all these petitions and all these things and total disorder. Normalization came in, one came in, second one came in, and we're approaching another one. So I think that Abdourahmane is a technical person that wants things to be in order. But now, since I'm a sympathizer of Semenge, I would like to say here, and I'm a sympathizer of a country that has law, a country like us that has law. I want to think that Semenge...
You're a sympathizer of Semenge?
I am a sympathizer of Semenge. Not because I love Semenge, but because I think that he's been given a mandate by the International Sport Arbitration Committee, and the government of Cameroon is respecting that. You understand? So I have to be in line with that as well. If Semenge is somehow in okay with Abdurrahman chairing the ad hoc committee, then I think that he's possibly the person that is supposed to handle these things. Now, if FECAFOOT refuses to attend a meeting just because they have someone that is good at rebuking them, someone who understands content and understands the law, is good at rebuking them, and then I think that there's a problem of leadership. I keep saying this.
And you're talking about someone who understands leadership and is good at rebuking them. I'm looking at the early stages of this crisis. The minister failed to bring the warring parties to a compromise.
Yeah, let me tell you, the first mistake the minister did was dissolving the professional league. The first mistake FECAFOOT did was dissolving the professional league.
The decision did not go through the General Assembly.
Yes, that was the failed policy of the president on FECAFOOT in the first place. And that's where I started having some question marks about his leadership. Just 2 years into power, and you see the complexities we're actually going through. Now, the minister has only one position: respecting state institutions and respecting international laws. You understand? It's just like Cameroon is having a problem with Nigeria, and the United Nations, somehow an international court of justice says, Bakassi is Cameroon, and then someone comes in to say, no, Bakassi is not Cameroon. It doesn't work like that. This is a state that has laws, and we work on diplomatic platforms. So I'm on the platform that Abdurrahman might technically be the right man to handle the football in this country.
Okay. Within the ranks of the LFPC, there are still troubles. Just this afternoon, we had the president of Dragon Football Club of Yaoundé. He's a member of the administrative council of the LFPC resigning.
Yes.
Is he siding with FECAFOOT?
It's a good reason to resign if you are not okay with the platform. But it's a good reason if
you resign.
It's a good reason to resign by respecting the laws. But then, before he resigns, the General Semenge sent out a communique asking all of those presidents to give just financial justifications. The state actually disbursed money. Before they resign, they should have those justifications in place. And I want to tell you...
And the president of the Cameroon Professional League, since 2013, he has never presented justifications of the budget that has been used to run the league. How come he's asking for justification
Probably
now?
if he was given the opportunity, if Njoya and his team didn't come into play and cause the chaos and disorder this season, that
he has been there since 2013.
He would have given the justification. But then, probably, if we're given the opportunity to continue...
But from what we saw with the Technical Transitional Committee, at the end of the season, they actually came out to spare that this is the amount of money we have used. And a lot of people praised that move.
Well, you praised the move too. I think you praised it.
I think to that one, the first year of the Ligue professionnelle, la première année avec le feu président Jalakwan comme vice-président, ils avaient fait un bilan en fin de saison, puisque à l'époque j'étais un peu proche du président Jalakwan, je crois, j'avais vu des documents dans ce sens, mais depuis nous n'avons pas vu. Mais le problème qui se pose, pourquoi c'est maintenant que le général demande à ses présidents de justifier? Il aurait pu demander depuis les années qu'on les donne. Donc moi je pense que c'est toute une cacophonie. Ils se font les petits pièges à gauche, à droite. Donc celui-ci sait qu'il est en infraction. Je garde ça. J'attends le jour où il va me chercher le problème. J'ouvre son caisse. Celui-ci, je prends sa part. Donc tout ça parce que je vais vous dire, le championnat suisse se joue à combien de clubs?
I think 13 clubs.
12 clubs.
12 clubs, yeah. 12 clubs.
Le championnat portugais, le pays des CR7, 14. Toutes ces équipes-là, on ne peut pas jouer à 8. On a dit la Ligue, au départ, la Ligue professionnelle était claire. Il y avait un cahier de charges.
Tout à fait.
En France, on a renvoyé des clubs de Ligue 2 en 4e division,
Tout à
la
fait.
DSCG, parce qu'ils n'avaient pas l'argent, ils n'ont pas présenté au budget en début de saison. Vous savez. Pourquoi dès le départ qu'on a dit voici la Ligue, il y a un cahier de charges? Toi, si tu veux être président de club, amen. Si tu n'as pas, on va prendre une équipe de 3e division qui a les moyens, on le met là-bas. Le général a laissé, il a tourné, il a laissé. Comme ce sont les amis, comme il comptait sur eux pour le rebooter. Non, moi je crois que dès le départ, c'était faussé. Dès le départ, on n'a pas respecté. Il faut que, dès le départ, on a fait avec des...
Les amis.
Avec des amis et machin, on a fait des considérations, on a baissé la garde, les pitiés, comme le président a dit. Il faut qu'il le fasse maintenant. Il faut qu'il le fasse aussi maintenant. que même le président de la fédération, que tout le monde accepte que oui, et puis chacun base à garde. Parce que s'il faut respecter la sentence est différente. Ce n'est pas comme Bakassi, comme le président a dit que Bakassi c'est pour le cas. Non. Le TAS a dit il faut laisser la Ligue. La Ligue est censée être là depuis tant temps, donc par conséquent, cette année est annulée. Donc en réalité, s'il fallait prendre ça concrètement, comme le verdict a été donné, cette saison, normalement, est blanche.
Of course, because
maintenant, compte tenu de la situation sociopolitique.
Of course, because if that decision is to be respected, it's going to cause more chaos, because we might just find the president of UMS of Loom heading to task with his own case to claim that he is the rightful person. UMS of Loom, they are the rightful person to represent Cameroon as far as continental competition this year is concerned. If that decision is to be respected in toto, just as the Court of Arbitration for Sports out there noted in their communique. Max Come, is it the right time for him to resign?
Fabrice,
For that was the situation.
Fabrice, I can tell you many more are going to resign. With the statement that the general did make for people to present.
He gave them 72 hours.
Many more will
Is it that they don't have the justification? Because we know that in Cameroon, club presidents have their way of doing things, especially when it comes to money. The coach made mention of that.
Perfect.
Fabrice, let me just, not to disrespect my brother, let me tell you, those club presidents don't have the justifications. You see, he was talking about happy. You understand? I'm a practical person. I sent a player from Option Sport to play with Union of Douala. And he signed a 2-year contract with an amount of money. But I'm telling you, not even the injuries of the players were treated. So when you see people come out with plan of actions and things, they're used to doing that. They're resigning probably because they're running away from prison. But before they resign, or after they resign, they have to give justifications. Who has told you that the general does not have justifications of the budget or report of activity or cash flow event of how he managed the league all these years?
But the report should be presented.
It has to be presented somewhere. But then, let us give him an opportunity to take over office, and then we come in to ask for justification on this. But as of now, it seems to me that, like ENOW is saying, more club presidents will resign. But resigning does,
people might go to prison.
Yeah, resigning does not mean that you're not going to justify that you collected state funds. Do you understand? And Coach Gia said here that clubs like Switzerland and Portugal are playing with 12 and 14 clubs respectively. This league can be played with 8 clubs. Clubs that are ready to take football to another level. So it doesn't matter for us, but then the issue is respecting the law. We have to stand by respecting the law. Let me tell you, when the decision of CAS came in, the first thing the minister did was he convoked a meeting. He invited the parties together and said, this is a country, we should continue from where we ended. We understand we have a decision that has come in, but the league was played. The transitional committee headed by Kanute had coordinated the league for this season. Let's just continue from where we ended and let the general continue from where the federation ended. This was a good move from the minister. What is wrong in Fecafoot saying, yes, I think where we ended, PWD is champion of Cameroon. Let me tell you, the way it's going is getting very dangerous, and we don't want to get to that stage. We want football to play. We are football actors. We want our kids to get back to the playing field. Like I've said before, the Northwest and the Southwest are in a very critical position. And we encourage our young men and women in the Northwest and Southwest to be involved in football. And when politicians get involved in Fecafoot, I keep telling you that there are politicians that have infiltrated Fecafoot. And the general is very smart. After his first press conference, after the General Assembly, he came out and said, ils m'ont piégé. Je veux aussi le piéger. That you understand? They tricked me, I'll trick them. You understand? So it's time. The general has a lot of other things. I'm telling you, he's into the Secret Service. He understands this country from zero. You understand? He has a lot of things. Is it not surprising?
He should use those things for the good of football.
Is it not surprising for you that a president of a club out of a sudden is resigning? it's very dangerous. So the general is going to come up with other red cards that could probably not just make people resign, they'll start running away from this country.
And which means that the beautiful game has now left the green turf into the office. The El Clasico is no more in the green turf. The El Clasico is now taking place in the offices. Gentlemen, can we propose a solution? Because from all indications, these gentlemen are fed up. They are forgotten about the players. Most of them go hungry. The coaches, I mean, their own troubles are just too many. Meanwhile, the politicians are in their offices pulling the strings. What would be the solution to this current cacophony?
Yes, Fabrice, before I give you some of the solutions, which I think might be appropriate, I just want to take you back memory lane. In 1998 to 2000, we had Fecafoot under Vincent Onana against Joseph, the Minister of Sports at the time was Joseph Owona. Later on, we had the cacophony Iya Mohammed against Austin Ejua. Later on, we had differences between Amadou Garwa against the Normalization Committee under Joseph Owona. We now have the issue Bombonjoya against the current minister, Professor Kombi Mwele. The only Fecafoot president that has been in line with the minister was Tombi Aroko with Mr. Bidungpat. And do you know why Bidungpat was in line with Tombi Aroko? Because Tombi Aroko was illegally elected because he took up a mandate in which the text had required the first vice president.
Accepted, but then did what other presidents have failed to do. He was president when we won the AFCON, and he takes the credit too. The 2017 AFCON, he takes the credit too. You can't take that away from him.
I can definitely. I'm just going back memory lane on the discrepancy between the federation and the ministry. But why have we had? And what is so striking is that Professor Joseph Owona had issues with Vincent Onana, with Vincent Onana, because of the issue. But later on, the professor became the head at the Normalization Committee and had issues in Brazil, especially with Adum Garwa. The problem, when you look at it historically, is because Fecafoot has its mandate that comes from FIFA, and it keeps most ministers uncomfortable. Ministers don't bother about karate. Ministers don't bother about cycling. Ministers don't bother about volley. Ministers bother only about Fecafoot and football.
So there's a lot of money there.
Because of money.
Okay.
And we should accept it. You rarely hear a minister talking about handball. Their focus is in Fecafoot. Allow Fecafoot to be managed by the president of Fecafoot who has been elected. And if CAS gives a decision, that decision is going to be respected. Thank God the president here said he is sympathizing with Semenge. But I'm not here to sympathize. I'm here for football to progress. Coming back to your question, what recommendations do we want? Firstly, my first recommendation is, let us go back to the laws that created the professional league. What was the cahier de charge that was given to professional league? It is simple, Fabrice. The facts are glaring. A club at the professional league should have this status. One, a salary should be paid to the players on a regular basis. If you cannot pay salary, those things are very glaring. Let us apply the rules that set up the professional league, and I tell you, we will have no issues with football in this nation.
Before I come to you, Coach, give this message. Isaac from Dopsy, sorry to say, this military Military has nothing to do in the field of sport. They are all players who can manage football in this county well. Semenge should stay apart from Cameroon football with his supporters. The message is coming in from Isaac in Ndop, and Isaac apologizes before writing. Good evening to the panelists. I wish to say, okay, thank you very much, Raymond. Your message is not well, but thank you for following us out there in Limbe. And good evening to everyone watching the show. In Limbe, the town of friendship, Limbe was named this week the most cleanest city in Cameroon ahead of the African Nations Championship. Coach Gil, what recommendations do you have to make Cameroon's football better?
Je crois que d'abord, je vais aller un peu dans son sens, mais d'abord je vais aller terre à terre pour la réalité actuellement, à l'instant T. Vous savez, il y a l'adage qui dit, si on t'explique le Cameroun, tu comprends, c'est qu'on t'a mal expliqué. Donc, actuellement là, puisqu'on a des échéances, il y a la CHAN, il y a la CAN, il faut que le chef d'État frappe la main sur la table. Donc, une fois qu'il a frappé la main sur la table et qu'on a joué le CHAN, on doit maintenant revenir, parce que tant qu'on ne revient pas sur le statut de la Ligue professionnelle, avec un cahier des charges bien défini là, parce que c'est dans le statut là, qu'on va même définir que le président peut être élu, c'est 75 ans, un mandat renouvelable une fois, stop. On doit, tout ça est là-dedans. Tout ça est là-dedans. On va déterminer qui va nommer le SG, qui va nommer le trésorier, qui doit nommer le responsable. Il faut qu'on revienne là-bas. Ils ont broyé ça au départ expressement parce que chacun voulait piéger l'autre, comme le général a dit. Chacun avait ses intérêts. Il laisse l'autre et dit, ok, moi je laisse d'abord ça. Donc,
of course,
il faut que le chef d'État stoppe la récréation.
Some of those laws still need to be revised, because there cannot be a president of the LFPC and the Secretary General is appointed by the FA, the Chief of Finance is appointed by the FA. It's like someone who sells a goat and decides to hold a rope. So some of those laws still needs to be revised, Mr. President. Do you still stand tall and strong that the problems and the doorstep of FICAFOOT was the way forward?
You know, I'm not the kind of person that would change my position overnight. I take my time to analyze the situation. You know, I'm into football, but to stand here and openly criticize FICAFOOT, I know where I stand. Sometimes we just need to speak the truth and let the truth prevail, so we move on.
And your shirt has the Cameroon Football Federation.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
You might be criticizing yourself too.
And I'm not criticizing myself. I'm a Cameroonian. Okay. I'm a supporter of my national team. I'm a supporter of my country. The first thing we have to do, which is only one thing, is respecting the laws, the decision of CAS.
Okay.
That is the first thing which must be done, because they have analyzed the situation and they thought it wise that the professional league should run football in Cameroon. That is the first thing that has to be done. Once that is done, we can now sit in the round table, like panelists as we're sitting on this table, and look at the various parameters. There's a cahier de charge. Whether it was respected or not, what is important now is respecting the decision of CAS, so that football should continue in this country, and it should be respected in all parameters. But then, if the minister came in and said we should continue from where we ended, a true Cameroonian, if Njoya was a patriotic Cameroonian, Njoya and his political regime were patriotic Cameroonians, I think they would just go ahead and respect the minister. I don't side with those who disrespect order. Okay. If Njoya can in public disrespect our minister of sport, then I as a football stakeholder cannot respect Njoya. It doesn't work.
Okay. He
has to show by example that the minister of sport is the supreme leader of sport in this country. If Njoya disrespect our minister, it means he's disrespecting our head of state.
Will you be happy to see a normalization committee?
If he doesn't respect the orders, then there is the possibility of a normalization coming. But then, that's not what we want. We want football to resume. But we should start by respecting the decision, the sentence, the judgment of CAS which came in. And if FICAFOOT gives that respect, go into that respect, I think football, Njoya and his team will be announcing in the next couple of weeks football to resume in this country.
Thank you. And you're the president of Option Sports Academy of Limbe. You're gearing up for the new season which begins. Hopefully, let's hope that it begins on November 9 because issues of postponement is always very common. You have played a friendly match against PWD of Bamenda. It was 2-2. You played another one against Dragon. You have been playing friendly match with top tier sides. Why do you decide to play your friendly match with top tier sides?
Coming about the date of the league, you know, last year we prepared for the league. Sometime around, it was also announced around the same time, and the league started 4 months later. That is how Africa Foot treats us. And then we have players, we have kids we're keeping, some we send to school, and we're taking care of their injuries and things like that. That's the federation we have. But then, we do football because we love football. We're preparing for football, and we've been playing games, we've been organizing ourselves, getting ready for the competition. We're not waiting for the calendar. I'm not even sure it's going to start on the 9th as it's been announced. You know, we're just preparing ourselves, playing friendly games. We played against PWD, and we had a 1-1 tie with PWD. We played against Panther. We're preparing other senior games this coming week and subsequently. So we're just preparing and getting the kids morally fit, psychologically fit. We don't want to get them into the polemics and the cacophonies of what is going on in this country. We just want to get them fit. We want to build a professional culture around them. That's what Option Sport is all about.
And we have the coach of Limbe Football Club Association. Last year, before the suspension, you were already sure of a place to the mini interpost, but it came abruptly. Will you come up with the same power this season?
Vous savez, Fabrice, les saisons se suivent et ne se ressemblent pas. Chaque saison a sa stratégie et a des adversaires à neutraliser. Donc, pour l'instant, ce n'est que la semaine dernière que le ministre avait levé les mesures pour le football. Donc, actuellement, avec l'administration, on est en train de réfléchir pour une stratégie pour comment relancer les choses. Vous savez, manager, c'est prévoir. Donc, avant de débuter, on va d'abord mettre tout sur papier et voir si on maintient les mêmes objectifs de l'année dernière ou pas, parce qu'il faut aussi signaler qu'entre-temps, il y a des équipes qui se sont préparées aussi. Donc la saison passée, cette saison ne pourrait pas être la même comme la saison passée, mais on va voir.
Limbe Football Club Association, Option Sports Academy of Limbe. Whenever you hear Limbe Football Club Associations and Option Sports Academy of Limbe facing each other, it's a match that if indeed you are a sport or a football fan, you must watch because it always produces fireworks. Ladies and gentlemen, it's here that we put a cap on today's edition of Prime Sport. ENOW, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much, Fabris. Thank you to all televiewers. We think that we are here to contribute to nation building. And I want to say thank you so much and greetings to all my good friends of Tico United.
The Samba boys. Coach, thank you very much. And we are delighted to have you. We hope to have you again.
Mais oui, c'est moi qui vous remercie beaucoup et je reste à votre entière disposition. C'est la première fois ici et je suis vraiment très heureux d'être là. Je suis content aussi d'avoir aidé aussi à éclairer vos téléspectateurs par rapport à l'actualité footballistique. Ça serait toujours un plaisir pour moi de revenir ici et je remercie aussi à mon ami le président Henri. Quand il y a un match, comme vous avez dit, nous sommes les plus grands ennemis du monde, mais hors du terrain, on est les meilleurs amis aussi. C'est ça aussi le football. Et on voudrait que cet esprit aussi entre chez le général et le président là-bas, Bobo Joya, pour que les choses puissent commencer, pour qu'on puisse retrouver cette ambiance de football.
That is the spirit. President, thank you very much for coming, and we hope that next week we shall be here to talk about the players performing, not the politicians pulling the strings from their offices.
Yes, thank you, Fabrice. Thank you, Eno, and my good friend, Coach Gil. Like he rightly said, you know, when Options is playing LIFCA for like a month, we don't talk. And popular opinion held that we were enemies at a point in time, but we actually drove in the same car to Douala tonight, and we'll be driving back this night. So this is just a spirit of sportsmanship. It's a spirit of patriotism, and we think that politicians who have decided to destabilize our country, it's enough time that they know that football is a unifying factor. And football is part of our lives, and it's a nation-building factor. And we think that they should understand, they should leave their egos on the side and start respecting the laws of this country. And I'm hoping and I'm wishing General Semenge all the best as he's preparing for league, and I'm also wishing Coach Aroga the best as he's preparing to welcome the rest of Africa in Cameroon sometime in January. And I'm wishing all the viewers of my Media Prime the best, and thank you for inviting us.
Thank you, and to the rest of the team, the producer EWANE, Eli, thank you very much for being there. Let's end it here today. Good night, and God bless Cameroon.